Yeah. Got it. So let's see. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our second episode in Know Our Partners series. Today, we have our amazing partner, Classter, for learning management systems and school management systems. Now, before we start, let's take a quick look at TeachOgen's educational digitization services for the ones who are joining us today for the first time. So basically, we are an education digitization company committed to delivering exceptional experience to equip schools and educational institutes, as well as teachers and students with creative tech tools and modern teaching strategies. So we aim to provide it with absolute high-tech and professional development solutions with great quality. And we are also looking at the right use of the precise educational transformation solutions and more innovative, effective use of technology to maximize education institutes' potential, especially in the Middle East. Now, if we are looking at our services, we have different domains that we work on. Our first domain is the PD Academy or Professional Development Academy that aims teachers in all grades and institutes, as well as institutes, leaders, and school principals to become more digital competent. One of the first courses that we have is the Digital Classroom Management. It's a 12 hours course with 6 modules that would develop the teachers' abilities to have better classroom management using digital technologies. The next course that we have is Teaching Strategies for Successful Learning, where we focus more on the traditional teaching strategies and how to convert it into technologically led strategies. Then we have the pedagogy wheel, where we are digitizing Bloom's taxonomy for the ones who are aware of Bloom's taxonomy and its importance in teaching. After that, we also have apps for every teacher, where we dedicate special sessions for the most advanced technologies and apps that a teacher needs in his or her everyday classrooms. We also have exam prep courses and teacher training courses for exam preparation, such as the IELTS teacher training, the assessment and feedback, how to give proper assessment and feedback in the digital world. When it comes to leaders and school principals, we have 2 courses dedicated for them: the Educational Leadership in the Digital Age, as well as the Leaders Digital Toolkit. Now, when it comes to our exam preparation services, we provide fully customizable courses depending on our trainees' needs to prepare them for IELTS examinations, GRE, and GMAT. For educational transformation services, we have educational consultation, and we also have our partner with the best e-learning system out there, which is Classter, our guest today. Also the student lifecycle management, as well as instructional design services. Now, when it comes to our partners, Classter, of course, is one of our first partners that we partnered with its all-in-one student and learning management system that we will learn more about in a few minutes. Clevered, where we were happy to have them as our guests in the last episode of our series. And in the future, we would be happy also to have Seeds from the UAE, and we will also have Language Cert and Energia SOI for specialized programs for students with learning difficulties. Now we will hand the mic to Tio, who will be with us today from Classter. Tio, welcome, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much for all this organization of the series and the introduction. I'm Theo Dimitrakoudis. I'm the sales director of Classter, and together we will see what is Classter and how it can help your education institution. Let me share my screen and start right away. So if you can confirm that the screen is on.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
it's visible.
That's nice. So what is Classter? Classter is a system that is cloud-based, and it combines the functionality of many different systems. Mainly is an SIS, a student management solution, where you can handle your students and functionalities around the students, vital functionalities for a school to manage, or an educational organization, to be honest, because the system is suitable for all types of education institutions. So it combines functionality of an SIS, a student information system, an LMS, a learning management solution, an ERP, and CRM solution all in one. We will see about the functionalities and how it manages to do that. However, the system is hosted in Microsoft Azure environment. It uses SQL database, and it's built on Microsoft technologies. With Microsoft, we have a strong relationship anyway. We are gold partners of Microsoft, so the system is built upon Microsoft technologies. Now, the solution provides, in reality, portals, online accounts for administrators, employees like secretaries, admission personnel, and all the rest, secretaries and so on, students, teachers, parents, and it is coupled with mobile apps, with an admission portal, where you can get applications online from your new leads, your new students that need to enter your school, all the parents that need to, of course, sign up their kids in your school. And the system is also suitable for ministries of education and for districts of schools, because it is created this way to have multi-tenant functionality into a single database. Now, I'm going to just mention a few things here, because we will see into our live demo most of the things that are here. But about the administrative portal is actually the main solution, the back office solution that is being used by administrators, secretaries, and it helps you use all the tools of Classter in order to manage many processes. But in many cases, it is also the starting point for a secretary in order to manage specific processes. Note that the system manages roles and rights in order to define exactly which parts will be managed by whom inside an educational institution. Now, on the other hand, student portal, the system is fully responsive. So in reality, all users in a school can log into the system by any device and any browser and so on. So the system is responsive. It will open by mobile app, by mobile phone or tablet or any laptop. Teachers portal, the entrance of teachers allows them to handle many things in the system. So it allows them to handle their students, their groups, their sessions, their teams, maybe Microsoft Teams, if you make the integration, the attendance, subjects, material, homework. All these are under the teachers portal. And of course, on the other hand, parents. Parents have access into the system to check out their kids, of course, to see their progress, to check out financial and make online payments, to check out academic data like attendance evaluations and educational remarks, to check out teachers and book meetings with the teachers at specific times that teachers set their availability, to send requests to school, and so on. We will see all this in our live demo. Now, one of the things that is very, very important, especially due to the pandemic, it was actually a big, a very helpful tool for all schools, was the online admission. So in reality system, Classter actually supports a special online process where you can create your own steps of submission so that the parents can submit their applications for the kids to your school. These can be combined, the admission module can be combined to either CRM for making your meetings with your your parents, or the communication with the applicants and so on, or with the financial module, so that you can after the submission of the application, for example, you can ask for a payment, for prepayment of the fees and so on. As I mentioned, the system is coupled with mobile apps. The mobile apps were created by actually for students and parents initially, but of course we had to extend the use to teachers as well and employees, so that they can get notifications, they can submit attendance, they can see their events, they can see messages, they can chat with each other, and so on and so on. Now, the system is integrated with several third-party systems. One of these is the Power BI tools, so that you can get statistics about different schools, districts, depends on what you need to get statistics for. The system has, of course, its own statistics for each module, or for each functionality, but in reality with Power BI, you can drag data and create your own custom reports about the data and how you want them to be represented in front of you. And these are the modules in reality that you can sign up for in Classter. We're talking about core. Core is the mandatory and the least you can get about the system. Core actually handles the general structure of the school, the main data of the students, the main data of teachers, parents, employees, and it helps you handle also the specific configurations inside the system, terminologies, things like that. Academics have to do with all the academic process. So the management of the attendance, the management of the marks, evaluations, essays, assignments, descriptive marking, academic remarks, and so on. The CRM is another module that helps you manage the communication between all entities inside school. We're not talking only about parents or students, but CRM actually allows you to send communications with emails, SMS, internal messaging throughout all the school environment to all entities. And of course, on the other hand, it helps you manage all specific actions and events that are taking place in the school. Whether we're talking about a field trip or we're talking about a bullying event, the system allows you to manage that, and create workflows, specific workflows about each category. Admissions is the admission module that we talked about. Billing has to do with all the financial data. Mostly the system manages the student fees that have to do with their main program, but also has to do with the extracurricular activities cost or any other services you provide to students, such as transportation or meals or maybe clubs, activities, whatever. Surveys and quizzes is a module that is relatively new and was also used widely by universities mostly, because it has two ways of handling that. You can create surveys for your parents or students in order to give you feedback about your educational organization, but it can be used also by the teachers to create quizzes with auto corrections for their students. So students can log on, submit the answers with multiple choice questions or matching questions or free text questions and get auto correction by the system. Also, another use of that is to organize digital examinations, because it contains also some lock-in features and it can handle specific exams at specific date and time in your organization. Library is a module that handles the management of a physical library, a physical lending library to be more accurate, because it handles in reality all this selection of books between students, teachers may have this right, or even parents. You can open your library to even parents and let them borrow books from the library. It is supported with internal messages for delays of books and so on. And finally, transportation will help you manage all the routes and enrollments to specific routes and buses of the students. It is important usually for schools that have their own bus fleet and they manage their routes and buses. Now, the system, besides its own functionality, which is of course very, very wide, it provides also integrations to third-party systems, because in some cases you need to be integrated with external solutions like Office 365 or Google accounts if you use them, WordPress, Joomla. We have some plugins for that. Payment gateways like PayPal, BlueSnap, and so on for online payments. SMS providers like Ruti and Uboto for sending SMSs and enable your communications. Now, besides this, the system also is integrated with synchronous learning platforms such as Microsoft Teams, WebEx, and Zoom. These are the most popular that are being used around the world, and Classter, of course, is integrated with all these solutions. On the other hand, if you're using asynchronous learning solutions like Moodle, Brightspace, Canvas, we can be integrated with this as well. Usually, the education institutions use Classter LMS in order to do this and provide asynchronous learning in reality. But we have cases where they have already a structure in Moodle, in Brightspace, in Canvas, and that's why we had to make integrations with them so that they don't need to manage both systems. They need just to manage Classter, and everything is sent to these solutions. Now,
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this actually. Yeah, because I myself have been using Moodle personally, like at the university I'm working at, and I was actually like going to ask you, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you integrate, since you already provide a learning management system, you like Classter's learning management system and Moodle's as well. Like, do you mean like in data migration, or how do you integrate
I
exactly?
will I will show you that exactly how it is happening when we move to the live data, to the live demo. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So the system is already in 1,500 education institutions around the world, and we reached 1 million users that are being using Classter right now. We're talking about all users, students, teachers, parents, and so on. Now, let's move to the real data. Let's move to the real thing. And let's move to Classter management system. So let me log into the right solution. I will start with the a few things about the administrative portal, and we will go through the rest. Oh, I got a message that it was stopped, so I'm sharing that again. Okay. So this is the environment of the administrator. It provides the calendar, the personal calendar of the administrator, where I can see features and events that are scheduled. In events, there can be multiple events. For example, there can be a seminar, there can be an event, an extracurricular event, an activity, an announcement maybe about things that will happen in the school, or anything. So it can be invitations, it can be events, it can be announcements. Everything can be visible throughout the user's calendar. And the events can contain text, pictures, links, files, and RSVP, so that you can get the intention of the people to attend or not into a specific event. Also, the events of the calendars can be exported and synchronized with either Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar, or any other calendar that each user is using. Now, besides the calendar, administrator can see the active students, classes, and teachers anytime, whereas there is a search button where I can find any user by name, surname, maybe ID number or phone number, whatever. Besides this, there are some quick actions for the everyday job. You know, create student, check out students per year, class, service, and so on. You get also some news about Classter, where we constantly keep on informing you on new features, or you have new tutorials or webinars about how to use new technologies and new features of Classter. There are some statistics, some initial statistics about your school for your top years, or dispensation by gender, or attendance percentages by year, and so on. These are just some initial statistics. There are more to go. And if you press in each one of the options there, you're going to be able to see the lists of your students. So you can have lists of students like this in card view, where you can check out your students and make individual actions, like preview them, like send emails to the parents, SMSs, create remarks, check out their card, make transactions, and so on. Or you're able to view that, the list of your students, in a separate form, which is more familiar to you. It's like the grid view, which is like a list. a dynamic list. And the thing here is that the system provides you many views for different data management. And of course, this is totally dynamic. It means that you can select and pick the data you want to have, the way you want to have them, with the line you want to have them. So you're able to move data between the list and create your own list. When you enter the system again, next time you enter the system, the list will be exactly the way you created that, with the data you created showing the information you want. Of course, one more thing which is very, very important is that the lists in Classter can be exported in Excel, CSV, and Word file, or can be printed directly. Now, one of your everyday job is that you can go, for example, search for the students of year 4, and you can filter them by stream or class and so on. Let's go to the students of year 4B, search for them. And what we can do actually is that we can select all of these and go to bulk actions and make a bulk action. You know, your everyday job has to do with bulk actions between students of a specific class or year or course and so on. So this way you can actually select all your students and send an email, for example, not to them, but to their parents or the guardian or the person that is the financial contact. So depending on the communication you want to initiate, you're able to select which of the related person with the student you are going to communicate. And another thing, of course, is that you can schedule the email. So it doesn't mean that because you thought about it right now, it is right for you to send it right now. You may schedule it, and you may do it with any communication. So you have advanced actions that allow you to send the communication maybe tomorrow at exactly 12 o'clock, because that is the right time for you to send financial communications, for example. Okay.
This is an amazing feature, by the way. Yeah, yes, because
exactly.
sometimes the idea pops up in your head and you forget that maybe you're afraid that you forget to send it tomorrow. It's not the appropriate time to send it now. So this is amazing. Yeah.
Exactly. It saved lots of secretaries around the world, to be honest.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Another thing here is that you can define and create template emails so that you don't actually need to write again and again new things. You can define templates that are dynamic and can get actually dynamic fields from the database and use it in your communication. You can even, the system actually supports a mail merge functionality where you can send a specific report, let's say the report card of the kids, to all of them directly without one action. So each parent will get its own kid's report card with one particular action, even though you don't need to do that, and I will show you why. Let's go to see how all these data end up here into this functionality. I will clear the filters. I don't need them anymore, or I will search for a specific student. Let's say that I'm going to search this student. Okay, this is the student's card. This is actually the student's profile, and it has in reality many tabs about many things. So for example, you get the main data of the student. These are configurable fields, so you can change it. If you don't want to keep, for example, the year for registration, you can change the literal and the drop-down menu and create your own field. This will be, of course, updated in all the lists that this field is being used. Of course, you can add more fields in the student card, and the same happens in the teacher's card, in the employee's cards, in the course programs cards, and so on. So in reality, we're talking about a very configurable solution that can be configured to manage all your needs. Anything in drop-down menus and everything you are going to see in the next minutes are actually configurable based on your needs. Now, the main card of the student has specific data, like the educational program the students is going to follow, the contact details that if you connect it with Google Map, you can see also the Google Map in the student's card as well. Extra phones or addresses, additional addresses of the student, and also, of course, the connection with the family. Father's data, mother's data, siblings that are not in school, siblings that are in school, and so on. And of course, any additional next field that can be used, that can be text, date field, check field, and so on. These are all custom fields, everything. So besides main data, you have also a tab with demographic data where you can declare nationalities, ID numbers, passport numbers, and so on. And then we move to the more educational stuff. It has to do, first of all, with the enrollments. You're able to enroll specific classes and subjects, multiple classes and subjects actually, to your students, because they may they may have this situation where they are being taught many subjects into a main group, but they can also have several groups and classes that are being used for maybe a foreign language like English, like German, and so on, French, whatever. Or you may divide them in different other classes depending the lesson and the subjects that they are being taught. Besides the classes and subjects, you have also the enrollments to services. As I told you, for extracurricular activities, for all sorts of categories, activities, books, events, lunch, transportation, whatever services you provide to students are there, and you can define them. All this will result to the financial calculation. So the system also manages the financial aspect of the students and allows you to create agreements about how they're going to pay and when they're going to pay and so on, and also allows you to manage all the financial of the education institution, because it shows you the financial overview about the money you expect to get, the online payments, and everything else. Now, speaking of this, I will continue by showing you what all these things that we are doing in the back office, or as administrators, as secretaries, as teachers, maybe, how all these affect and are published into the parents in reality. So let's go here, and I will log in as a parent. So nice. In order to show you the result of all this. So the result of all this has to do with all the data that we share with the parents or the student, and so on. First of all, the system, of course, supports the consents with digital signatures and so on. Okay. Second, of course, all the data are unified into a single database. This means that one parent with a single account can see all their kids and can see all the data for all the kids they have, even if these are in different levels of education. Like in this case, I have Francesca, which is in elementary school, and I can see also Mark, which is in childcare, in nursery school. So parents, of course, can see in their calendar, they can see events, sessions, whatever is there, actions, events, whatever is scheduled, either for the kids or for themselves. Of course, they're able to check out announcements. They're able to see also notifications. We mentioned financial before. Now, this is an automated financial notification that leads parents to go and check out their financial card about their kids, see what is the next payment or the outstanding payment, go to online payments here and select the installments to pay and how they want to pay with the selected, for example, with a selected enabled payment gateway that the school chooses. Of course, it can be PayPal, it can be whatever. But the important thing is that it is there for the parents to decide. Now, besides financial, let's go to the academic. The academic is the most important thing because, first of all, the system has an embedded timetabling solution, okay, that allows you to create timetable, and of course, this is published to entities like teachers and students so that they know when they have lesson. The difference with all other systems is that Classter also supports extracurricular activities. This means that the timetable doesn't support only lessons, but also extracurricular activities like choir here or physical education or seminars or swimming, tennis, whatever is extracurricular activity for the student. And this is very, very important in order for the parent to have a whole idea of what the student, their kid, is going to do into the school today. It's very, very important. On the other hand, of course, parents get an idea of the homework or classwork about the students. So anything that needs to be done by the students, they have the filter, of course, to filter whatever. Say that I want to see only mathematics, okay, for specific date or regardless of date. I'm able to check out the homework and I'm able to give some feedback to the teacher. This is also a very helpful feature that allows parents to send the feedback and say, for example, that the homework was not done by my kid because we had a problem, or was partially done, but she had some difficulties. Now, this is like a bell ringing in the teacher's portal in order for them to check out and see and make some actions in order to give more attention to the student and help the student with a specific mentioned issue. Of course, this is also a matter of rights. You can disable that if you don't want, as anything from the left hand menu or buttons or anything. Everything in Classter has to do with rights. So you define how it's going to work and what will be the capabilities of each parent. Parents, of course, have also the academic data of their kids. So this is like an academic card of their students where they can see attendance data, points. Points is not marks. I will let you know how these are gained. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and badges. This is a feature that is from the mobile, is used by the mobile app mostly, but also from the web portal, and allows teachers to give thumbs up or badges to their everyday sessions to specific students in order to award them for the nice behavior or the good performance. Also, the points have to do with the daily remarks that get from the teachers. So teachers can define specific predefined options and assign a daily mark, descriptive mark, or even arithmetic if you want, to the students. Also, the system counts based on specific criteria that are handled what each student achieved based on specific tasks, assessments, assignments, the marks, the evaluations that are getting by the students, and provide the feedback to the parent what is the progress in each lesson and what objectives have been mastered. Of course, on the other hand, there is always the field to see the marks of the kid, and note that the final marks for each term may occur by a specific marking scenario. So with a mouse over, parent has the right to see how this 81 mark occurred. So there are several criteria like personal assessment, group assignments, homework, exams, classwork. All these are actually configurable. Okay, you can create your own criteria and do whatever you want. And you can also decide the level of importance of these criteria, the weight of these criteria, in order to calculate the final mark of the students. Also, besides the marks, we have descriptive marking. Descriptive marking is allows you to create criteria and mark them with specific measures, with specific verbal marking, not arithmetic, verbal. So you have in reality your criteria, which can be totally different per subject, and the teachers mark those criteria in order to get a more complete view of how students react. Of course, you have also the assessments, let's say, detailed view about each assessment for each subject. And all these result in reality to what we call student progress card or descriptive marking card. It's something like this. Let me show you. Even though this usually is totally different between schools. I will zoom out a little bit so that you can see the whole picture. So in reality, this is a general report card that contains, of course, the mark of each term, contains attendance data, and also some general comments for each term for the performance of the student. Now, this layout can be different per school, and we can create your custom layout and add it into the system so that you can have it here. Also, in schools that have multiple levels, so start from nursery and go up to high school, these can be totally different between level. So if I choose Mark, which is in childcare, and press preview, you will see a totally different layout of report card, because Mark in childcare doesn't get actually marks, numbers, but gets grades, you know, letters that in the end mean something. So O stands for outstanding, VG stands for very good, and so on. So in reality, we have everything in one system for the better information of the parent. On the other hand, parents are able to schedule a meeting with teachers. This was also very useful feature during the lockdown through the pandemic, because parents could actually go and based on the availability of the teachers, because teachers define their availability to meet parents, they could set up meetings, digital meetings with the teachers. So they could go here, select a time slot, and select, for example, what would be the meeting. If they choose for online meeting, they can write also what this is about. And note that if you're using Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or WebEx, the system can also create the meeting link and send it straight to the parent so that they can log in directly to the meeting when the appointment time comes. Besides this, I forgot to show you the descriptive marketing for my students, and oh, descriptive marketing. I don't have a report there, most probably. Anyway, I didn't mention also the attendance. Attendance can be visible to the parents either as a list, so they can see all presences and absences and so on, or they can see that from the calendar, so they can see something like this, a calendar review, which allows them to see all weeks presences or absences and when exactly these were gathered. The system also gives them an idea about the late entrance into Classter. So if their kids is delayed into a specific class or is, is usually late enter the class, parents will definitely know. Note that the system also sends the information as a message when you submit attendance data and absence, for example. Okay, the parents can know it at exactly the time you submitted the absence, because it's very, very important. It's a security matter and they need to know. A couple of more features. I didn't mention about transportation at all, and that's one of the things you need to see. First of all, that the parents know all the program of their kid. They can see the selected date, of course, but they can see all the week, and they can see what is the bus, what is the hour, what is going to be, let's do it like this, what will be the address of pickup, who is going to be with the kid from the parents, who will be the driver, the chaperone, and so on. Everything is here. However, there is the ability for the system to show also the location of the bus when the student is into the bus, when the student is inside the bus and traveling from home to school. Also, parents are able to send the feedback to the school based on specific surveys that you create, like this, where you can write down your answers. For example, this is one of the cases where I have two categories, office staff and teachers, and in reality I have different questions and they can write down free text about them. Or it can be something like this. It can be multiple, in reality, multiple selection of whether the questionnaires are, what is the evaluation to the school based on specific actions. I think that I showed everything about the parent. I'm showing the parent most of the time because you can understand the depth of the system if you see the level of information that we provide to parents. You get
to be
a better
honest,
idea.
As a parent, I'm impressed with the level of the details. That, to be honest, like I haven't found in any of my kids' schools up to now, like the transportation, knowing where your kid is, knowing when he or she will arrive home, being able to know who's the driver and who's with them on the bus. This is even like security wise, this is an amazing feature. So yeah, this is actually quite impressive.
The whole philosophy of systems like Classter started to change a lot this decade. So when SISs first were introduced to schools, was about how as a secretary will handle all students, how I'm going to mark them. At that time, there weren't even portals for the teachers. You know, there was manual input from Excel files to the main system so that I can print massively all the report cards afterwards. But a lot of those started to change when new web-based modern solutions were introduced to the people around 2011, 2012. That was the time where we actually also we had the portals, to be honest, a lot earlier, maybe in 2011 for students, teachers, and so on, 10 to 11. But then we started moving everything to web-based, to the web, because it's very easy. You can access by anywhere. You don't need to download, you know, any other third-party systems to play, and it's very immediate and easy for anybody to get access to. However, the end user actually reverted from secretary of a school or an administrator to the teacher, the parent, the student, which are the most important school users in a school ecosystem, because they need to collaborate, they need to work with each other, and they're working constantly with each other every single day. You know,
Yes, exactly.
what will happen if a kid doesn't know what is the homework for next day?
Yeah,
And
that's
the
true.
thing
Yes.
now is that not only the kid knows that, but also the parents.
Yeah.
With a click of
Yeah.
a button, you know, that's very, very important.
And you said something that is very important, like most schools now, they don't have all of these like apps or features in one application. Like if a school has a learning management system, then they need to buy a separate one for transportation, and then a separate system for let's say CRM or finance. So there, like this is something from my own experience that I can see that Classter is one of the very few, if not the only one, that actually has all of these features in one. Like you don't have to go to any other third-party companies or apps. You have everything, even the library. Like actually managing even the school's library is quite impressive. All of that under one roof.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah,
the problem with the modern schools and the modern technology and green schools and so on is that now they're into a situation, you know, in the start of the decade, we have the problem where schools didn't have any system. Now the problem is that they have too many systems, too many islands of technology, and
true.
an IT department that, you know, tries to make integrations between one and another and send informations from one system to the other. So Classter main selling point is that you don't need too many islands of technology. You need to use only one core system and maybe integrate it with one or two more. But you can't work having 10 different systems. You're going to
True.
lose
Yes.
money, time, and in some cases, information, vital information. We have seen it
Yeah.
many times in schools to have one system that is updated by the secretary, and this updated information never goes to the second system, which is the accounting department. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's a big problem, a huge problem.
True.
So the answer to this problem is Classter that combines multiple functionality. We didn't do that in order to make a very complicated system. We did that because we know that all the features that we support are into the everyday school reality.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I
So
have a question that I've always been asked. Like, let's say that a school could like should they, like, when they want to buy or they are interested in a certain module or a certain section or a certain part of Classter, let's say they are interested more in the learning management system rather than transportation, because some schools, especially the lower grades, for example in Saudi Arabia, they don't go to schools now. They have their classes online. So do they have to get the whole package or the whole system, or is it customizable based on the client's needs?
It is totally customizable. So all modules and everything that has to do with functionality is a matter of the choice of each particular client. You can even start with specific modules, and as you go, enable any other modules you need. So it's not a package, it's not a version. We used to have that a long time ago, and we changed it because we found that in many cases, people were buying functionality that was not usable by the school. So we reverted our licenses to be per module. So you can define the exact functionality you need to go with. There are lots of schools out there that decided to go with Classter to manage their academic stuff, or the financial stuff, or the admission process. So you can start by any module you want, and as you go, you can enable or disable features based on the level of management you want to have in your school.
Perfect. Yeah, this is great. It's also like I can see that it's very user friendly. Like the platform itself seems quite simple to use. Like you have everything, you have all the tabs, you can like navigate easily. So you actually make it look like a piece of cake, to be honest. Like it's really interesting to see how simple it is, yet with all the features and the complex like operations and calculations that is happening behind the curtains, but still very impressive how simple the platform looks like.
You're
and how
right.
easy to use.
To give you an indication about this is that we have stopped doing training for teachers. We don't need to do that, and we have never done any training for students and parents. I mean, the system is there, the buttons are there, they can press and see whatever they need. But also from the system point of view, we try always to hide complexity in the administrative point of view. So for example, the calculation of a mark, of a final mark of a course, may be too easy or too complicated. But the teacher is not the one that needs to handle all this complicated stuff. The teacher is there to teach and evaluate. That's it. He doesn't care about calculations, doesn't need to know about this, doesn't need to be part of this. He just needs to have a reliable solution that will feed with marks and it will calculate the result. And that's it. And that's why Classter is so user-friendly, because we don't actually allow these types of users to have any complexity. That's why it seems a piece of cake, and that's the feedback we get from the end users, because we hide all the rest, maybe complexity and everything, through the administrative stuff. That is, of course, their job, and they can understand these very complicated, maybe complicated, it depends on the school and the policy, but
the procedure,
these people are there to apply the policy to the school. So okay, they need to configure specific things. Still, we will never ask for a user to write code or write some queries or do whatever. Everything happens with simple settings that can be defined. And of course, our onboarding team is by the side of the school in order to have a smooth onboarding process and start using the system as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. I can see that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you for being with us today and showing us these amazing features that I'm sure like those are like the basic needs that any school would love to have, and to avoid any hassle with other school systems. Because I'm not only speaking from a professional point of view, I'm also speaking from as a parent, you know. Like as a parent, I've suffered a lot with many school management systems in the Middle East, and I feel like yours, like Classter, can be the solution that schools and all education institutes would be looking for right now. Well, thank you very much for being here today, and we would like to thank all the audience that was with us today. And we also would like to announce that we are the official reseller for Classter in Saudi Arabia, and hoping to expand our business in the MENA region with them soon. And during that time, if you have any questions, if you have any queries about Classter, about the system, you can simply send us an email at info@teachogen.com, and we'd be more than happy to help you schedule a demo and show you more about the system, because this is not all about of Classter. I'm sure you still have more to show us.
Definitely.
But due to
Definitely.
because we don't have much time left now. So if you're interested to know more about Classter, we would be more than happy to help you, and we would be glad to offer you exclusive offers when you reach out to us to support you in implementing a Classter in your institute. Thank you to you. Thank you very much for being with us today. And till we meet again, I'm sure that we will definitely plan another meeting soon, so that you can show us more of the amazing features that Classter have. Thank you, and till we meet again.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, I'm always available. We saw only 30% of the system today, but I'm always available for
you.
Yeah. Why not? Let's dig deeper into that. No problem.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Till we meet again. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.